Hey there, Brian Goulet here of GouletPens.com, and today I want to talk to you about the Nemosine Singularity. This is a really good value pen that for a number of years has been selling direct through Nemosine, but it's something they have recently started expanding in 2016, selling through other retailers like us. So we've recently linked up, and I thought we had a good fit, especially because these pens are really good value. So I think it's something that's going to be really interesting to you, whether you're a new fountain pen user or someone who's just looking to expand your collection to be able to have a lot of different colors of pen that match your ink. I think it's going to be something that is of great interest to you. There are actually 18 different colors of the Singularity at the moment available from Nemosine. We're only starting out with about 12 of them here, and we may add some or take some away over time, because whenever there's a line of pens with this many colors, undoubtedly some are going to do better than others. But there's a variety of demonstrator as well as solid color pens, so depending on what flavor you like, you can get your preference there. You can check our site if you want to see what all of our current options are. So if you're holding the pen in your hand, you'll notice the grip is not super short, not super long, but kind of somewhere in the middle, about average length, I would say. It has threads on it because it's got a threaded cap, and your fingers are probably going to end up somewhere on the threads. I don't find it to be completely a problem, but it's definitely something to point out. And the step is actually quite subtle. The transition from the grip to the body, it's just about the height of the threads, so it's actually pretty good there, depending on where your finger falls. The thing you'll probably notice is how incredibly light this pen is. It's only about 17 grams overall, which is about the weight, the same distribution as a Lamy Safari. So if you're familiar with that pen, it's very, very similar. And because of that, the balance isn't really a factor here because it's so light. It doesn't really feel front or back weighted. I guess if you have the cap posted on the back, it can feel a little back weighted if you tend to hold it really close to the front, but honestly, the pen's so light, it's really not a huge factor. The Singularity has number 6 size stainless steel nibs, and they flow just a little bit on the dry side. I find that the tines are pinched together just a little bit. You know, if you want to, if you adjust nibs or mess with them at all, you can open them up a little bit just by applying some pressure, but you want to be careful not to overdo it here. And if you have a brass sheet, it can really benefit from flossing it when you get the pen. Overall, the nibs are pretty smooth, especially considering the type of quality control you might expect from a $20 pen. I actually am pleasantly surprised here. It's got a little bit of toothiness on the nibs, especially on some of the finer nibs. It's something that if you like super smooth nibs, you may need to do a bit of adjustment on your own there. I think these pens will definitely work as a daily writer, and Nemosine actually gives a 3-year guarantee on the performance of their pens. Now they do actually have spare nibs that are available separately from the pen for about $10, and swapping them is fairly straightforward. You can take a little bit of practice if you've never done it before, but it's a friction fit inside the pen, and it has to fit in a certain way due to a cutout on the nib and the feed inside the grip of the pen. This is what it should look like when it's all settled in and properly aligned to the pen. There's a range of nib sizes available either on the pen or as spare nibs. You can get an extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and then a 0.6 or 0.8 millimeter stub, which is actually pretty unique to the Nemosine brand. These are finer stubs than what you'll typically find from just about anyone else. And they're very rounded, very stubby, not necessarily the crispest line variation that you'll get, but I can't tell you another brand that does a stub this fine, especially at this price. And you can check it out here in comparison to the Lamy 1.1 millimeter stub, since that's one of the more popular sizes out there. The Singularity has a threaded cap with about a 1 1/4 turn, so you can undo it in one twist. And one thing worth mentioning is I've had a couple of instances where the body's actually unscrewed instead of the cap, but a quick tightening of the grip on the body fixes that right up. The pen posts securely and it pushes right onto the back, sits pretty low. And the clip is actually pretty functional too. It's certainly strong enough to hold this light pen, and it's got a good amount of travel there, so it fits over thick clothing as well. It is a standard international cartridge converter and actually includes a converter with the pen, which is nice at this price. It takes standard international short cartridges, but the long ones are too long to fit inside the pen. The converter is also slightly shorter than the typical standard international, so you'll either need to use the Nemosine converter, or I find that the Monteverde Clear converter also fits, but the standard one is just a bit too long. On the plus side, the Nemosine converter is only $3, so it's not a huge deal if you do have to replace it. As another alternative, you can actually eyedropper convert the pen. All you need is a healthy dose of silicone grease, no O-ring is required, and you can fill the whole body of the pen with ink. As I mentioned before, this pen, it's an MSRP of $25, but it's selling for around $20 at Goulet pens, and it's a pretty phenomenal deal. I think this is going to be a great pen if you want an inexpensive pen to either add to your collection in a lot of different colors, or if you're trying to get somebody new into the fountain pen world. It's got everything set up, comes with multiple cartridges, the converter and everything, so I think it's a pretty darn good deal. If you like this pen and you want to learn a little bit more about it, you can check out technical specs and pictures on gouletpens.com. You can see all of our availability options that we have there. If you like this video and you want more like it, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can check us out on some of our other social media channels as well. Thanks so much for watching, and right on.